as you know, I'm not there today, but I did want to go through the next two assignments with you and just kind of give you an idea as to what we are going to be doing with these little guys called the Edisons. So Edisons are Python-based coding little robots, and I just want to go through some of the details of this assignment. So the first assignment is a tutorial assignment. The second assignment is a challenge. And if you do the tutorials, then you'll have no problem getting through this. So let's look at assignment 6. Assignment 6 goes through here how to do everything with this little Python-based Edison. First of all, turning it on. That's kind of a big one. You need to be able to flip this over here. So on the little Edison, on the bottom, there you go, there is a little switch. And when you switch it over, initially, you should, when I turn it on, you should have red flashing lights. So you can see those two flashing lights that are going there. That means it's on, it's in standby mode. If it has turned off, it means your batteries are dying and you need to fix those. So on the back side, there are two little push tabs. Push them in and then the batteries will pop out. Then you can replace the batteries. Mr. Morris can help you with that. And that's how you make sure your batteries are ready to go. The other thing that's very important here is your sound enhancements on your computer. The Edison connects through the base here, these two little dots here just above the power. They input an audio jack from your computer. If your speakers aren't turned properly on with the enhancements turned off, your code will not send through. So if you look here again, this is where your little plugin will go. You need your sound enhancements off. What will happen is that you will attach a cord from your computer's audio jack here to send the code by pressing the record button. When you press the record button, it will then turn both of the two lights on solid, and it will beep at you, and then it will be ready to record. When it's ready to record, you'll hear a buzzing, whirring noise when it sends the code. If you have not turned off your enhancements, you won't hear that buzzing noise. So you have to do this step. So you go down to your search toolbar at the bottom, you go to sounds, you type in sounds, it will bring up the sound setting window, which is this one here. You click on your speakers and you go into the properties. So now I'm in speaker properties and you go to enhancements and you disable all sound effects. So that should be straightforward. Turn off your enhancements and then you should be ready to go. Now down here is a nice little picture of what I just showed you with the record button. How you send the code is through the record button. So you hold the record button down, the lights will go solid on the front, so it's no longer in standby mode, it's now listening for your code. You will click send code to your robot and you'll hear a whirring noise as it downloads, and it will finish with a little beep and then you know you're done. This is a little image as to what the little EdCom connector cable looks like. It does have to go straight into this with both little prongs in there, so please make sure it's aligned properly. Now for this first assignment, because it is a tutorial one, so assignment 6, you will go to the link that's at the bottom of the page for the EdPy tutorials. You scroll down to the word tutorials and you click on EdPy tutorials, which will look like this. Once you go to the web page, here's your page. This does not say tutorials yet. You scroll down all the way to the bottom to this word here, tutorials. We are not doing block coding anymore. We're now doing Python. You click on it and you now have all the tutorials 1 to 10. Now for this assignment, I would like you to watch assignment 1 or video 1. You do not have to duplicate it. There's no code in there to duplicate. It's just basically telling you the things that I have just told you. Video 2 to 5, I would like you to execute and complete the code, which might mean that you may need to put in distances and speeds if needed, depending on what you're doing, or the number of times you have to do a loop. You need to go through this, and same thing with tune strings. You may have to put in a string of code for actually creating a little song. But these 4 tutorials will help you with assignment number 7, which is a challenge using the Edison blocks. So for this tutorial one, as long as you execute the code that they're showing you in the video, take a screenshot of that, put it on your website, videotape the Python code executing on the Edison, putting that on your website, and put a reflection for each of these videos, videos 2, 3, 4, and 5, that will get you, for this one, 16 out of 16 for this assignment. So the other ones I'd suggest watching are videos 6 and 7. They may help you with the challenge. And videos 8 to 10, highly, well, we might get to them if we have time, but probably not likely that we'll use them with the challenge. The challenge can be done without them. So if there are some extensions that you'd like to try, you can look through videos 8 to 10, but we won't be focusing on them for these 2 assignments. So, like I just said, as long as you have on your Google site a video of the code being executed and a screenshot of your code that you did and a written reflection, you will be getting 4 on each of these 4 criteria, which means that you get 16 out of 16. Now the 2 links here at the bottom, this is all the EdPy tutorials, this page here that I just showed you. Remember, scroll down to the word tutorials, click on EdPy tutorials, and we're getting the videos from tutorial 2 to 5. Here is how to actually do it. When you click on EdPy, it will open up to this window here. It will say, do you want to begin? I say yes. We are using version 2, so click on Start Programming. The important part about this now is that over here, it's kind of cut the screen off a little bit, but over here on the side, there is an ed.edison version edv2. That line is crucial because we are using this device. Your code goes below this little point here, and you can then enter in your code from there. Okay, so I just made my screen a little bit easier to see so you can see what's here. Now you do want to make sure you save your program as we go through this, so make sure you go to Save and Save As, because you might want to come back to these. You can have multiple tabs open at the top for each of the ones that you're doing, so I would suggest naming them based on the tutorial. If you're not sure what something does, you can just start to write in ed drive, and it will give you parameters here. I would strongly suggest reading through this, especially if you want it to go forward. You need to use the ed forward. If you want to go backwards, you need ed backwards. It will also tell you how to use the speed settings and the distance settings. So all this is built into this little search bar on the side for anything that you may be doing. For instance, if you're doing tune string, it does tell you in here in the tune string that it has to have a positive integer that you must put in there, and the positive integer goes based on this. A little side note, the initial tune, it actually gives you examples to look at and what things you need to have in there. So for instance here, A would be your note, 4 would be the time, Z is what terminates the string. So that is very important that you read the other information here and explanations. There are samples here. Take a look at the sample ones, compare them to what you're doing, see if that's going to help you, then you can do your coding in here. Once you put some code in, you will check your code. It will tell you if there's errors. Right now I've got nothing in there besides that. So it says there's no errors in my code. That's great. I will then plug in my robot with the little audio jack cable, and I will go to Program. Now before it sends it, it creates a WAV file, and then it will ask you again to click on Program Edison. Now that noise that you just heard, maybe, hopefully you heard it, because I haven't plugged it in, you'll hear this awful whirring noise. That whirring noise will go through the cable if it's plugged in properly. So make sure your volume is to a maximum, sound enhancements are disabled, as I showed you at the beginning of this video, and then connect it, press Program Edison, and that whirring noise will go to the device itself. So hopefully this helps you a little bit with getting started. I will be back next week, so we'll have more time to work on this, but the tutorials you can work through on your own for the next couple of classes, and then we'll be getting into the challenge assignment. So the challenge assignment, which is assignment number 7, is basically, now you know how to use Python coding, now we're going to challenge you. You're all going to be given a flat rectangular board with a black lined little region that it's going to drive in. You have to get it to do a celebration song and dance in every corner of the board, and it will be a random board. You can choose any song to program it to sing, and the dance has to have at least 5 moves. So you want to try to keep it within this kind of region, and you want to make it dance in the corners. That's ultimately your goal for what you're doing. If you find all corners on the board, that's great. If you get a celebration song, Wonderful. Little celebration dance, great. And then a website reflection. So that will be how this one works as well. You don't have to do it all in the same way, and obviously there's more than one way to do this code. So this again is an individual assignment. You can collaborate, but if I get code that is identical, I will be questioning it because songs will need to be different, dances will need to be different, and the process can be done in multiple ways. So hopefully that will help you start thinking about what to look for as you go through the tutorial Python little videos from 2 to 5. That way, keep that in the back of your mind that this is what your ultimate goal is for your code for your final Edison assignment.